Mike, to quote one of your all-time favorite verses that I've heard you speak on and refer to many times, Proverbs 18, verse 16 says, "A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before," some translations say kings. This one says great men.
Yeah, which is a better translation, by the way.
It just occurred to me, Acts chapter 1, verse 8, Yeshua is saying to his disciples, y'all stay here until you are endued with, as he referred to it earlier, the gift, the Ruach HaKodesh, which you shall receive. And you will have power. When that happened, Mike, all kinds of doors were then opened, and you have to wonder if they had not prepared themselves and waited for 10 days until the outpouring took place, would those doors have remained closed? But after that, they stood before the courts, they stood before rulers, they stood before great crowds of people. I'm just thinking, Mike, if we don't know what our gift is, and we've never taken time to either identify or develop that gift, how many doors remain closed that otherwise would have been opened?
Well, the truth is that if we don't understand who we are, okay, and I'll put it kind of that way, your gift is what the Father has put into you as your purpose for this life. If you don't understand that, then instead of waiting for a door to open, you will try to kick the door down because you've gotten the address of the verse wrong. Instead of Proverbs 18:16, you've gone to Proverbs 16:18, which says pride comes before a fall.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And so this is a crucial verse, and one that I learned from Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory. The other aspect, Barry, of this thing of a gift is having a gift does not bring forth the guarantee that your gift will be received or your gift will be understood. You go to the book of Acts, as you mentioned. The disciples stood up. Kepha stands up. He gives this message. And it says of the people that some were amazed.
Mm-hmm.
And it also says some were perplexed. And it says some misunderstood. And some had no idea what Kepha was talking about. So just because you have a gift and a calling and know where you're going and what you're supposed, doesn't mean other people, because of their limited spiritual abilities, some of those things being brought on by their own nature, their own choosing. Most people don't think spiritual first. Okay. Okay.
Well, yeah. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you stand up in front of someone and you say something of a spiritual nature, if they're not trained, if they haven't trained themselves to think spiritually first, then they will think in the natural regarding something that is in the spiritual, and they will be perplexed and not understand what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
A couple of things come to mind. Well, number one, I remember as a young 20-something aspiring pulpiteer in the church system, going to large meetings and standing along with other evangelists with my date book and Bible in hand.
And your horse and buggy outside that you got there in.
Yes, three-piece suit and tie. And
match the carpet in the sanctuary.
No, powder blue was not in the sanctuary.
Oh,
yes, powder blue. The anticipation was that people would recognize how great a preacher I was.
Mm.
And I would have several standing in line debating about what week they could get me to come,
Hmm.
and preach my practice sermons on them. I was thinking they don't understand how great a preacher I am. I didn't understand how great a preacher I wasn't. Um, yeah, I did open some doors and did make some ways, and I have learned a lot over the years. The gift was there, Mike. The passion was there. The calling was there. I just needed a chance to exercise the gift enough that I could learn to, number one, find what the rough edges were, and number two, to once identified, begin to polish those off.
Hmm.
For example, most people don't like to hear a recording of themselves, but I forced myself to sit down, begin
Oh,
to end, and listen to cassette tapes of my preaching and realize, don't say it that way. Don't go down that trail. Don't do it. I mean, I learned by listening to myself. Number one, I know I didn't like the sound of my voice as it was recorded, but now I record, many times every week. I still don't like necessarily the tone, and I'm constantly fidgeting with a microphone and a button to try to finesse it
yeah.
over into a digital complementary place.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Mike, it's not so much the tone of your voice, and it's not how high you can kick your leg and holler hallelujah while you're communicating. While that's exciting to a crowd for 5 seconds, if you don't have something to say, and I realized my gift and its exercising depends more on the behind the scenes prayer and preparation that it does the few minutes of presentation. If I don't have content, I don't have anything to make impact with, which means then those you said they're thinking spiritual first, and in their minds, as I did in those days, I was thinking about big ministry. Lots of revivals booked and a nice car and good suits and my pretty
Hmm.
wife on my arm, and we were going to go sing and preach and pray and have revival, bless God. And it didn't turn out that way. Thankfully so. I'm very glad that it didn't.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have missed the opportunities of refining and grooming and polishing and breaking and putting back together and all of the war stories, events that took place from then to now, where Yah says, I'm still refining and developing you. Here's the other side of that. When you think you've arrived and you think you got your gift all slick, I mean, you can pull that gift out of the holster faster than anyone else, and you can fire right at the target better than anyone else. That's about the time that the next period of refining will come. A gift without a sense of brokenness or a periods of brokenness becomes arrogant, and nobody likes an arrogant gift.
I agree with you. I agree. And there's a lot that once you start to figure yourself out, then that's the place you've got to start. You've got to continue to work on the process. No matter what the age that you're where you are in age wise, you still have to work on the process. What I've found personally, looking back over a lot of time, is when you develop and you think, okay, I've kind of gotten a hold of this fairly well, and the Father opens a door and you step into that door. Uh, the room you're in is for a season. All
Oh,
right, we should.
you say that again.
Okay, the room you're in is for a season. Let's just consider it as your own house. Okay. Um, you spend more time in different rooms than in other rooms, but your living room is for a season or a time frame. Your bedroom is for a time frame. Your restroom is for a time frame. Okay. Anybody that's sleeping in their shower is you need to consider your ways according to according to Ecclesiastes, I think it is. If you're having if you're having your meals in bed all the time, don't be surprised when you're having a hard time sleeping because of crumbs. Each place that we go to has its time and its season. And so if you get comfortable in your bedroom, but you never leave there, you're probably at a place in life that you're about to die. Consider that. If all you're doing is spending your whole day in your living room in front of your television, you're as good as dead.
You're already dying. Yes.
You've already pulled the plug. No kind of pun intended there. So every place is for a season, and we have to understand that the same thing holds true with our gift. And right now I'm kind of in the process of that. We were talking, and some things are going on. And when you go into a room, and that room is fulfilling, and your gift is being used and is being accepted, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, back out that door. Okay, I'm in the hallway. What do I do now? Well, the hallway is there to get you to a different room. That's the only purpose of a hallway, is to get you to a different room. And so we have to be comfortable. I'm really talking to myself a lot this morning. I find that I need to go back, and I don't like to listen to me either, but I might have to. I'd much rather listen to you than me. But the purpose for a hallway is to get you to a different room. So we have to be as comfortable in the hall as we do in the room. Is that making any sense?
Well, the hall is the transition place from one room to the other.
Yeah, it's the waiting room. Yeah, say it like that.
Consider the aspect of future doors. You don't know what door is coming next. And sometimes if we did know what door was coming to open next, we would probably either rush toward it too soon and get out of timing, be fearful and say, I'm never going to go through that door. I don't want to go through that door. Or else just assume that the purpose of going through that door is one thing when it may be something else. Mike, all of we can do. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Could I add this verse that I quoted earlier to you? I'm in the book of Ecclesiastes. Now, if you're going through some transitions of life, Ecclesiastes shouldn't actually be the first book you read, but it is for me all the time. In Ecclesiastes 8, verse 6, 7, right in there, for to everything there is a right time and a judgment. And here's the part of it. Since people are greatly troubled by uncertainty over the future.
You digitize there. People are untroubled by what?
Okay. People are greatly troubled by uncertainty over the future.
Over the future, yeah.
Go ahead, Trish.
Well, as much as we would like to think we want to know what the future is, you're better off to be a student of the past and understand history and why people have done what they did, and learn from other people's mistakes, or learn foundational things that have taken place that, we just, we can benefit from. The idea of the future is often in our imagination. We imagine, well, when I get to Laura and I, we've got an event coming up this summer, and it's going to require plane travel. And in my mind, I've already walked through the airport a bit, and I've already arrived at a destination I've never been to before. And in my mind, I'm thinking of how things are going to be. Sometimes that's accurate. A lot of times it's like, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things we can anticipate. It's those that we have no idea about. When we look to the heavens and say, "Yeah, only you know," because you're already there. Matter of fact, your footprints are already there. Your handiwork is already displayed. We have to understand and know that whenever we get to wherever we're at, however how long it took us to get there, he was already there. When he called us, he's already called Laura and I to a location to do a certain thing. And he's already laid the groundwork, and he's already set events in place. And we may go and think nothing happened. Later on in the kingdom, we may look back and say, I had no idea. Mm-hmm. Mike, if we could look around in the spirit, you said most people think physical and not spiritual. If we could have our eyes open just for a few seconds into the spiritual realm and realize the warfare and the heavenlies that's going on around us, whether it pertains immediately to us or just our location or our nation, if we could understand the weights and measures of that realm as opposed to the comparatively small things going on in this realm, simple acts of obedience, simple opportunities for us to say a kind word or to hold the door for someone or just be kind and have compassion on people. We don't understand what effect and ramifications that may have in the future and what doors that they may open. I say all that to say this: do what's right in front of you. I can't be in my future until I get there. Do what I know to do right here, right now. Rely on the gifting and calling of God to have its opportunity to show itself at a moment's notice, be instant in season and out of season. That's all that you can do. You can't get to your future until you get there. And when you get there, it's no longer your future. Isn't that philosophical?
Oh yeah, there you go. This is a very appropriate weekend for this, Barry. That we have the eclipse that's coming up, and how many hours have people put into this? And if it's kind of like a non-issue, then how many hours of your life did you give to something that is a non-issue? If there is something that happens in that time, how many hours did you spend on things that were irrelevant regarding that time? Some of this is kind of fun to look at, but you get there, and if you're, I talked to the guys last night on Life on Purpose about it. If you do what you're supposed to do on a daily basis, tomorrow's going to take care of itself. Go back to an illustration regarding this verse of uncertainty of the future. I had annual. I've got to keep active with or up to date with VA, so I had to do an annual physical, which is the only time I go to a doctor really. But they send me a text and it says you got to go in and get your blood drawn, which I can't stand that because I don't like needles. I don't mind pain, I just don't like needles. And I mean, I don't like pain, but I don't mind it. I know it's just something about that. It just freaks me out. And lady was great. I mean, I didn't even feel it. It was wonderful. And so she takes blood. I don't get a report on that. Okay, I don't know what they're going to say, and it's not until a week later that you got you got your appointment. So I get there and they tell me to go to a waiting room, kind of a hallway, and then I got to, this one room, I guess, and then somebody comes and calls your name, and I walk down a hallway and I go to another room, and they take the other thing. They haven't told me anything about the blood yet. Okay. And then, when they're done, I got to go across the hallway to another room. And at every place, I'm getting a little bit more information. But you're sitting there, and you sit down and the doctor says, "How are you?" And you're like, "I don't know. That's why I'm here. If I knew how I was, I wouldn't be talking to you. But you have information that's been stored for a whole week that you haven't told me about." You don't know what they're going to say. What's the first thing they're going to say? Have you made arrangements? If you see the card sitting in front of you for the local funeral home, it's not a good sign. I'm making fun, yes, but at every place you're waiting for them to say everything's fine, and which that happened with me. Everything's fine. And then you walk out the hallway and you go do your thing, okay? But everything at every point in time of that, there was some unknown. Is the nurse that drew the blood is she in training still? Is going to use me like a pincushion? Will they be able to get the blood? Things just go crazy in your mind, and for the most part, most of the things that go crazy in your mind never happen. So controlling that which is going on is a great asset for us. Being at peace with where we're at is a great asset. Doing what you're saying, doing the things that are in front of you. Yeshua talked a bit about this. Take no thought for tomorrow. I haven't been able to see that in Hebrew, but I did look it up a little bit in Greek. And you know what it says in Greek, Barry? It says, take no thought for tomorrow. It's not a trick. It doesn't mean that I don't think about tomorrow, but the word more would be better translated this, in my opinion. Don't worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
Worry about tomorrow takes life out of our today.
As you're describing all that, Mike, I'm thinking that to develop my gift, whatever that may be, and your gift does not have to be a verbal gift. Your
True.
gift may be supporting, encouraging. It could be serving. It could be financing, or just being there and being compassionate. I mean, there's a lot of ways of gifting someone. So you don't have to stand for a crowd and speak and say anything necessarily.
Yeah. Some people's gift is silence. Some people's gift you wish was silence.
I knew that was coming.
To say.
Oh, yeah. I had a good point to make. And all right, you plug the hole in that boat you just caused, and I'll try to bail. And
you ever had somebody that came in and said something, you said, I wish your gift was silent?
Yeah. Try to reel this back in. I had a profound point to make. Thanks, Mike.
My gift.
I wish it was silence. Okay.
Sidetracking your profoundness is my gift.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm not supposed to be laughing. No. I remember that. I'm supposed to crack a joke and then not laugh. I'm sorry.
I thought
got out of my calling and gift. Have you got your profoundness back yet?
Yes, if you hush just a second, I'll tell you what it is.
Did he just tell me to be quiet, guys?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Wow, Barry, what
I'm
a
not-
friend you are.
Yeah, I rebuke my elders. So hold on just a second. If we live in a development of our gift, we have anticipation of our future. If we don't build our gift and refine it, we live in fear of our future.
Good. That was profound, I got to admit.
Yeah.
You could post that on Facebook so I could remember it and steal it.
Yeah, well, no doubt you're going to steal it. That's fine.
I'd share it first.
Thank you, Mike. So you mentioned April the 8th. How many people are thinking, where's my bunker? Do I have enough supplies, whatever? Be pragmatic, be thoughtful. You know, there's nothing wrong with having extra stuff around in case, you know, a bad day comes, a storm comes. Today, the weather report is not good for our area. And so, you know, one of the things I'm going to do today is make sure that my vehicle is full of gas, just in case that the power is out for a while and gas is not going to be available. I want to make sure, you know, Laura's already made sure there's food in the house, and we have a means of preparing food even if the power's out and that kind of thing. So, I mean, just using some common sense and you never know when the grid, you know, may be down for a few days. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't mean we're living in fear. No, we prepared to take the fear out of the equation. When it comes to our gifting, if I've got our gift out of hiding, and it's available at a moment's notice when prompted by the Spirit. Do this for such and such an individual, speak this, give that, go there. Living by the Ruach's prompting and guiding. When you lay your head on the pillow at night, it's like, okay, today was a good day. Some days, you know, your gift is sheathed and nothing really spectacular happens. What do you do on those days? Pray, be thankful, worship Him, get in His Word, and love on people. You just never know when a moment will come where you can do something significant. But the thing we can't do is what the unprofitable servant did: take your gift, hide it in the ground, and protect it so it doesn't get tarnished. That doesn't work because there's no fruit bearing and there's no increase. Just a thought.
I like it. I think it's rather profound, in fact.
Well, thank you for acknowledging my profundity.
I'm perplexed by it.
Yes. Others are
Yes.
marveled in amazement, but that's beside the point.
They may be. They may be. Okay. Well, Barry, yeah, on another note, I posted this morning 180 days. You know,
Yes.
nobody was prepared for October 7th.
No.
Unfortunately, there was a lot of people that let down some things and did not prepare. And because of that, October 7th happened. I was just on a recording with Hanok, and we were talking about some of the posts that are going on online and all the things that are, being put up there on Facebook specifically. That's all that I really show, that I really follow. But I said to Hanok at the end, it's bothersome to me. I guess grievous would be a different word. The people are posting more about the killing of a cow than the killing of soldiers and innocent civilians, Jewish civilians, Israelis today. Where's the continued outcry? Where's the sharing of posts of of how many of the days that this war has been going on, and the sharing of news articles and things like that about rockets going off. But no, the number one thing is well, they may be killing a red heifer soon, and that's prophetic. But let us not put prophecy at a higher level than people's lives. If we get more emotional about prophecy being fulfilled than we do the reality of people dying, maybe need to ask ourselves some questions.
Well, I think we get caught up in the euphoria of prophecy coming to pass and thinking that it's all spiritual. The reason prophecy is given is because it's about people. And
It is.
prophecy affects the nations and the people in it. So when we say, well, when we read Revelation, the bowls are poured out and the trumpets sound and seals are broken, and we imagine how all the consequences of those things manifest themselves on the earth. In the middle of all of that, there are real people. Well, the Revelation says that a third of the world's population will die at a certain event. We read that and read on to the next verse without stopping to think, okay, who's going to bury all these people? Are their bodies going to be in a condition where they can be buried? Who's going to care for the children that are left behind out of that, the adults died? Who's going to fill the roles that those people played in their society? How do we recoup with such mass loss of life? Mike, we're talking about events that could reduce the world's population down to a fraction of what it is now. That's unimaginable upheaval in the earth. And the convenience and comforts of our societies now will most likely not be available because there will be no one to supply those. So prophecy is about people. And at some point, we have to realize people have pushed heaven beyond the boundaries of mercy. And now, without the mercy, recompense is to be realized.
Yeah.
May there be gifted people who are not hiding in a bunker, but able to walk among those in desperate need at that day.
Yeah. Prophecy is about people, and so is the reason you were given your gift is about people. To quote a friend from many years ago, who used to tell me all the time, life is not about you. No. Life is about others.
That it is.
It's a good word to live by.
And it's a good word to end on today. We appreciate very much your viewership and sharing of our recordings. A lot more people watched last week's than average, and we're appreciative of that. So please share, comment, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Appreciate it. See you, Barry.
See you, Mike.